Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Eureka Springs CAPC meeting for March 27th, 2024, 6 p.m. And let's do roll call.
Brian Wyman.
Here.
Colin Pohl.
Here.
David Evanzino.
Here.
Chris Jones here. Chris Clifton.
Here.
And Steve Holyfield.
Here.
And Bradley Tate Green is out of town.
Okay. We had a really good workshop discussing some of our hiring process for the director and then also for auditorium rental structure, and that expanded into just some of the talk about utilization of the space and things. So some really good thoughts and talk, and hopefully we can grow that even more. Next comment, approval, or next topic, approval of minutes. Minutes from February 22nd, 2024.
I move we approve the minutes for the February 22nd, 2024 meeting.
Second.
I've got a motion by Steve Holyfield to approve minutes from the February 22nd, 2024 meeting, seconded by Brian Weinerman. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, we got financials.
This afternoon, Danielle had emailed each of you a packet concerning financials, and you should have A1 through A9. If you look at A1, which is this is a preliminary February 2024 income statement. It's preliminary in that I've got 3 to 4 more days before the end of March that we would be receiving February sales tax collections. But as of today, your February 2024 income statement is A1. So at this moment today, we have $1,962,013.63 in the bank. That's all accounts. That's as of today. If you look at Section A, this is our actual versus budget for February 2024. The actual food and beverage was $46,651, and our budget was $91,650. That's down $44,999 or 49%. Now remember, we're comparing our sales tax receipts to our monthly budget. Also under lodging, we had a sales tax remittance of $40,384. Our budget was $91,650, and that is down $51,266 or 56%. Now let me add, under that particular column, we did receive about $5,800 in additional taxes today, which are not reflected on that. So if you take $51,266 and subtract $5,800 approximately, that would be where we would be down in that category.
That's for 2 months.
This is for
Section A.
This is February. This is a preliminary February is what I'm giving you.
Okay, I'm looking at the year. Okay, I got you.
Okay. We're still on Schedule A1, Section A. If you look at the year-to-date collections, for this would be January and February, our sales tax collections are $175,155. Our budget is $366,600. We're down $191,455 or 52%. Now, under Section B, this is where I particularly focus on. This is our historical comparison. We're going to compare February 2024 to where we were last year at February 2023. So under food and beverage, February 2024, of course, we had $46,651. At February 2023, we had $50,110. That's down $3,479 or 7%. Under lodging, the actual for February 2024 was $40,384, comparing to February 2023. Actual was $69,766. That's down $29,382 or 42%. At the very last column there on that page, year-to-date collections, January through February of 2024, we had $175,155. For February for January through February of 2023, we had $247,377. So if you compare those, we're down $72,222 or 31%. That's the number I look at right there.
I got a dumb question.
What?
So I thought we budgeted flat for the year. Or did we?
We increased the budget above last year by about $175,000. Is that right? My mind is telling me
So
that.
10%?
Now, in my opinion, we're still early into the year, but I am watching these numbers, and we may have to come back and make a budget adjustment. But for right now, we're just watching the income at this point. So, any questions, or I'll move on to A2, which is the balance sheet. You'll look under the balance sheet under Schedule A2, and you'll see that the total checking/savings agrees with what I said about our bank statement. Okay. Under A3, that is your February 2024 actual collections to budget. I have an explanation I provided to you under Schedule A5, which explains the difference or how we spend our money in different line items. If you refer to Schedule A5, it will explain what was spent in Schedule A3, which is February 2024. Under Schedule A6, the commission had approved a $30,000 award or funding line item for the Arts Council, and that gives you a breakdown as to how that money was spent or how it was allocated by that group. I thought you might want to see that. Under Schedule A7, I presented a graph for you. It's a sales tax collection graph for January 2024 through January 2020. If you'll look on the graph, you will see, it's better to me to sometimes look at colors, and you can see how we're trending downward. But I wanted you to kind of look at it from a color visual perspective on a graph so you can kind of get an idea of what these numbers are. Under Schedule A8, this is an income statement the commission discussed back in December 2023 about having an income statement for the auditorium, and that is Schedule A8. If you took our budget and only had expenses related to this auditorium and revenue, which would be rental fees and concession sales, this is your income statement. And you'll look at January, you'll look at the bottom, and you'll see how much $21,601 was underfunded for the auditorium. I put it that way. I will present this to you each month, this Schedule A8.
Right here.
Under Schedule A9, if you took our budget that you saw on Schedule A3 and pulled out all of the auditorium expenditures, this would be the budget you would be looking at. So if you see January, you can look at the bottom and see that after the operating expenses of advertising, et cetera, there was a $39,550 profit, so to speak. And then in February, so far, we're in a deficit of $73,139. Overall, at this point, we're at a $33,589 deficit based on that Schedule A9. And that's what I have prepared for you. And if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer for you.
So back to the budget, we're down considerable, but I'm looking at it and I don't remember the discussion or if we had any on it. So if we're only budgeted up about 10%, there's a 50% increase from actual collections last year to what we budgeted for January, February. So
I'm not sure I understand.
if you look at these numbers, if you look at the year to, and I could be wrong, I'm wrong all the time, year-to-date collections budget, 366. Go down year-to-date collections, February 2023 actual, right, 247. Well, that's a 50% increase from last year's actual collections to the budget this year. Can you follow me? You track me?
How did we miss the budgets by so much?
Why did we, and maybe the answer is I don't know why we put a 50% increase in our 2 slowest months of the year.
Okay. For 2020, in preparing the budget in the past, it was based on the percentage of income coming in as each month. So, for example, your income would be coming in at a higher percentage during our busy months of, let's say, June, July, and August, as compared to January, February, which would be a lower percentage.
No, I know all that, but that's not what this is. This is when we did the budget. Shame on us for not catching it probably, and I don't know if it matters, but we lumped money in January, February. If it's a 10% increase over the year, then it's not going to be 50% every month, right? Can't be.
I don't have a configure to compare with that.
What we'll have to do is to go back and
We need to
pull
look
the
at
actual
that.
2024 budget
Yeah.
and look at each month and how we projected those at the time. And I have a feeling what we probably did was we came back up with a percentage increase for 2024, just one big percentage increase. And we may have tried to level that out over the course of every month.
For some reason, we stuck a lot in January, February.
Yeah.
I'm pointing it out so people, don't despair. It looks like this giant gap, but it is a 50% increase over last year in that budget.
Well, he has the
Area for
bad
those 2
news,
months.
I have the good news,
Okay.
Go ahead.
so to speak.
Go ahead.
I don't know why it ended up that way, but that's.
Well,
what
the
it is.
budget for 2024, I don't recall the total amount. I have to look at it. It's over $2 million. Whatever the total budget is, divide by 12, and that's what it is per month.
So
Oh, okay.
That's the
Well, then that
explanation.
explains it because
That's
it's
the
not.
explanation.
Below mine.
Yeah.
so
It's
this
just a
is the
level.
budget
I assume,
set every month.
Based on
Correct.
a 12-month period. Yeah.
see, I assumed
So,
we
not
went off
saying
last year's numbers and
October's
either
not
went flat or added that 10% each
February's not
month.
100,000. It's just,
I follow what you're saying now.
Yeah.
But I flatlined it 12.
Okay.
I think just for correction when we do next year's.
Next year.
Go month by month.
Historical.
Now I can go back and change
Yeah.
it now.
We need to.
I can do that.
It's really bad looking.
It's not the pizza. That's not what's making me sick. It's that.
There was also, our interest income for February was $8,759.07. I'll point that out. And that will appear under interest income when the final financial statement is complete in 4 days.
Yeah. So budgeting the way we talked about with the 10% increase per month, you're at about 35% off instead of 52. So a little better. And
Well-
plus you have more maybe
Let
another
me say that Mike
10
and I,
grand or
Mike and I
something.
worked on that number of how we're going to come up with allocating the money between
Okay.
the 12 months, and that's how it is.
I mean, we could just look at, like you have it, look at previous year. And previous, when we're setting the budgets, we should set it within reason.
The overall,
Not divide it up per month.
yeah.
What I usually do is take a 3-year average, and I will take and get a percentage, using that formula, get a percentage by month. So let's say January might be 2.9% of the total, but $2 million something dollar budget. When we start moving down, that would set my limits for the food and beverage. But as we move through and get into our higher months, the graph would show me that we might be at 9.7% of the budget. So that budget figure would go up based on our sales from prior 3 years, sales tax collection.
Okay.
And that's what you want me to do, right?
I think so.
That's what we
We approved the overall budget for the year, and then
Right.
monthly. So if it was a 10% increase for the year, to me,
Okay, I
it seems
follow
like
you.
then you, right? You look at that, what the historical was, and 10% on
Got
each
it.
month.
I understand.
To add
Yeah.
up to that number. It just skews it really bad right now by look, you know?
Yep, it does.
So,
But like I said, under Schedule A1 at the bottom, the actual tax dollars coming in is what I look at. The budget is a number that we can adjust throughout time. It's not something you take to the bank right now, but if you look at the actual collections of $175,155, and in 2023, we had $247,377, that's down $72,000. That's the number I see that's 31% down. So it's a pretty good chunk of change, and you got to try and overcome that in future months, and that's what's going to be difficult. So right now, you're operating in a deficit. That's what I'm concerned. That's got my eye watching that one.
I got a feeling that when we see March and April, when we sit down, we're going to
That's
see
where
good numbers.
That's where the rubber's going to hit the road right there.
And we're
Trends
going to
seem to
know
be
right
changing.
there where we're going to.
That's it. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I'd like to see it, I'd like to see us budget by month though, and so that we can try to hit budget every month.
We'll do
Let's
it.
keep it
We can do that.
yeah, I don't think this came up before.
Well, anyway, I'll let you know, I look at the financials probably at least once a day, and the money coming in and sales tax and so on. So there's no surprises. I'm telling you everything I know with these reports and trying to help you understand, particularly with the, in fact, Mr. Evanzino had made the comment back in December about wanting to see an auditorium income statement. So that's part of your package now, and help you with
Don't,
making decisions.
I'm not criticizing the process or anything.
Okay.
Just commenting. You're doing a wonderful job. in
You're
my
welcome.
opinion. Okay, any more discussion?
I move we approve the financials as presented by Scott Barton.
Second.
I have a motion by Steve Holyfield to approve February 2024's financials, seconded by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay. Everyone's here for the next topic.
Well,
Mike's-
I'm going to go ahead and be brief this evening. I do have good news,
All right.
and part of it is due diligence by our ad agency, Mad Media, that has been doing, I think, a great job. And I'm going to go ahead and give you some numbers here, even though I don't have them on the screen to share with you. February 2024 saw a 246,000% increase in our paid website traffic. We had no traffic at all up until the 1st of March, or mid-February, I think, when we started our actual campaign. When March 1 rolled around, we saw the web traffic jump an enormous percentage, which was just fantastic, because all of a sudden Eureka Springs had viability once again out there in the world. Our referrals were up 87% because of that web traffic that went on. That was also accompanied with visit eurekasprings.com beginning to rank #1 in related searches for Eureka Springs, jumping up over our competitors. The first Med newsletter went out in February. 77% of those newsletters were opened up, which is remarkable unto itself. That just kind of shows the metrics of growth. We're still leveling out due to significant changes for the eurekasprings.com website. So we're very happy about those particular results.
Question, where did those go? So did we get a hold of our database? Is that, because there was a lot of questions in the past with other agency about that. So we got control of that and then,
We have control.
awesome, great.
That's exactly right. That unto itself is just a huge phenomenon. And again, when it's a pay to play in a lot of respects. On the same token, it paid off. And we're seeing, again, those web results really jump through the air. Along with that, our public relations insights were fantastic for 2024 start. We showed up. Number 10, scenic southern cities that you can reach by train. 25 amazing things to do in Arkansas, which was a favorite search. 15 of the safest LGBTQ-friendly cities in the United States, trans and binary people. America's most beautiful churches, from St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City to Thorn Crown Chapel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. 13 small towns in the United States that were ranked among U.S. favorites. You probably already know that we ranked number 1 in Southern Living's best small towns in the state of Arkansas. Eureka Springs was the town. 8 most charming river towns in Arkansas to visit in 2024. So we're scoring way up there. In February, the newsletter had a 77.2% open rate, and that was from journalists from National Geographic, Forbes, Smithsonian, Travel and Leisure, and other ones. So we're being seen by the right people in the right times. And we have upcoming press trips coming up with Brian Ciccione and Heidi Brandes. I want to point to some literature that you do have in your portfolio today. We are going to show you a couple of ads that we're going to be placing very soon. One of the first is an Outside magazine. It kind of looks like this little page right here. Outside is going to be devoted basically to trails. Outside is one of those magazines that's been around since the 70s. Our distribution will be targeted basically to the Midwest, which includes most of the Mid-South and most of the Midwest. This is a phenomenal magazine for reaching the greater outdoors. And we'll have 2 insertions in it during the course of the upcoming year. Estimated deliverables, about 450,000 impressions will be made with Outside magazine. So very excited about that. It's a niche magazine for the outdoors. The second one that I'm excited about is The Knot, K-N-O-T. This is basically one of the principal magazines for the wedding market. We've talked a lot about weddings and how important weddings are for Eureka Springs. This magazine alone has a depth of reach that's very impressive. 666,000 impressions we'll be getting out of that. This is going to occur in July and also in October, 2 great months for the wedding market. The final thing we're going to talk about in terms of what I call analog marketing, even though this is digital, is a 13-week investment in the IGLTA Travel Association Leisure Marketing. This is for basically the LGBTQ Travel Association. We'll be doing a 13-week email campaign reaching that group, and again, an opportunity to go ahead and give them lots of different information over that period of time. 263,000 impressions will come out of those emails. So that's just some upcoming information for you all to consider. So those are some of the highlights from Madden. I will comment, again, we talked a little bit about it during our workshop. St. Patrick's Day weekend was one of the best we had in the city for a long time. It just shows that we can pull off a big party. That means we can pull a lot of people from outside. And you know, the thing I will say for all of our hospitality partners in Eureka Springs, hospitality is the #1 thing we do, and it's why we're here. So we hope that when you get the visitors and you get the customers, that you put your best foot forward. We had a lot of people here, a lot of people were excited, a lot of people want to come back. So I'm going to close with that as my report this evening.
All right, thank you, Mike. Public comments. Now's your opportunity if you'd like to get up and talk. Okay. No public comments. Any agenda updates? Anyone want to add something? Okay. New business funding requests. Who? Soapbox Derby. Oh, there we go.
Good evening.
Hi.
First off, thank you for everybody for being here, and I must apologize for missing the last 2 meetings because I was out of town. My name is Dylan Baskis. I am a new person to Eureka Springs. I moved here in November. My mom has been here for 22 years, so I'm here to just take on this phase of my life and help support her. But I guess I'm just curious how many of you as a kid, you know, built a soapbox or built a go-kart and kind of, remember that feeling of rushing down a hill. I'm trying to kind of bring that to the guests, I guess, of Eureka Springs and have Eureka Springs kind of invest in that. I have seen many soapbox derbies across the U.S. I haven't been to any, but I've seen them, and Red Bull is kind of the big forerunner, like the big runner doing these kind of things, and it's a very creative event. The soapboxes are built by a team of people. You make it whatever theme it might be. It might be, sponsored by a business, and you kind of build it around that, or just an idea. I love nautical themes, and so if I build one, I want to make a ship kind of thing, so that's my feeling behind it. I think the soapbox derby, obviously Eureka Springs is super creative, so I think it fits really well. We have hills, so why not use them? I have spoken to town, and they're going to give us access, if we can do it, to come down South Main Street, use the parking lot at the very top as a staging place where people can park. There's tons of space along the sides for viewers to stand and see the whole race. If I can get it, I would like it to end at the Cat House, because I think that's a great point to kind of just bring people into town. And, Red's Pizzeria, just kind of starting from there, leading out, and getting businesses like that to be sponsors, because obviously we're going to bring the crowds to those locations. We were talking about looking at July dates for this, where there's not a lot on the calendar in July for Eureka Springs, but the town said to pick a Sunday or a Monday for it, so we're kind of looking at dates around that. I've been an entrepreneur. I've owned my own businesses since I was 23 years old, so I know how to hit the ground running and put a lot of effort into things and get behind it. I'm a go-getter for stuff, so I guess I'll open the floor to you if you have questions on any of this.
Sir, I have a question. You mentioned the top of Plainer Hill down to the Cat House. Have you talked to the city about that?
I have.
And
They will close the section of the road. We won't start at the very top, it's too steep. We will use Plainer Hill parking as the staging, so people will park there, offload, walk their carts down, and start at a point where it is a nice transition in. They do want me to obviously line sections of the street with hay bales and things like that for safety. That's a given. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So you're going to have a lane open for traffic, or how's that going to
Nope,
work?
they said they would close it.
Completely close the road?
Yep.
I mean, are you stuck on July?
Do we do that?
I am not stuck on July. We were talking originally about April, but it came up too fast, and we just didn't think we could be able to get behind it. And that
Yeah,
was
I
back
see
in
that.
January. So I'm not stuck on July, but the other months, it looked like there was a bunch of stuff on the calendars. So if we have suggestions, I'm open to it.
July is actually one of our better, busier months, in October, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, there's a lot in October.
So I think July could be a bad month to do it. That's one reason you don't see a lot of things on the calendars, because we don't really need to, because we have so much business coming to town, so.
Any suggestions?
Well, August is really hot.
Yeah, that'd be
that was the
brutal.
issue with August. But we were
What
talking,
time are you doing it?
We were talking about doing it in the morning.
Yeah.
And that would get people into town, and then they would have access after that to go and do water, sports and that kind of thing. So an early thing, like a 10 o'clock start.
Yeah.
Wrap
I mean,
up by
August
lunch.
is not, July is definitely our busiest month.
Yeah.
And,
August.
August is a little sultry.
In October, it's busy.
Yeah, in October.
July and October, right? That's the
Yep,
biggest.
they're our peak.
Okay.
August,
We can definitely look at August.
Yeah, and that'd give you a little bit more time planning. Now,
Sure.
August would be a great month. I mean, it's hot, but it'd be how many people are you expecting to draw? What's your projection?
Says
so
300.
300.
Application says 300.
200? I didn't see that.
300.
300.
50
Yeah.
teams,
Yeah, I think,
requesting.
I would like to see 20 teams. I don't know if that's possible. I think the challenge is going to get people to build the carts. I don't think it's a challenge to get people to watch, but it's getting people to commit to building a cart. I think my number one is businesses, getting a business behind it, sponsoring it, and getting their employees, their team together. That's number one. to, could be high schools or colleges. You know, we can reach outside of Eureka Springs to bring in teams like that. My friend from Buffalo, Tim Schultz, used to work for Red Bull, and they did a number of these in Western New York, and they went to colleges and got teams from colleges. That was their number one draw.
So do you plan to do this every year, or is this the first?
Absolutely,
first year?
yeah. I mean, I can send a link to, I'm not sure who can share it out, but some of the soapboxes, you just look and there's thousands of people lining the streets. They're hooting and hollering. I mean, I think it would be, I don't know, I was surprised it wasn't happening here. You know?
We've had
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there was one a few years ago, and even just word of mouth advertising, a super small thing, and there was, I think, 5 entries, 5 teams.
Why didn't it continue?
That's a great question.
I think it would be great if I challenged you and Brian.
I was in the soapbox, actually.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't fit in one.
There's two versions of soapbox. There's like the actual soapbox races that you'll see. It looks almost like a bullet, you know, real thin wheels. So if you look up like creative or artsy, and that's where you get the interesting stuff, the float type of style, you know. Yeah.
So I'm curious if it's really, so you've got 300 down for lodging, which would indicate, you know, like all of them are coming from areas fairly, you know, they're not going to be day trippers.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like a big chunk would be day trip people from Northwest Arkansas corridor, that kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that 300 in lodging, you know, is accurate, or?
I mean, I would be happy to sit down and talk about that kind of stuff and like what other events are bringing in. Yeah, it was kind of a number that I just felt like fit right, but
That you get 300 people that are coming, you know, from multiple hours away that everyone would be from outside of this area
Yeah.
that's entered into it.
yeah, I mean, I guess that number was for drawing from outside of Eureka Springs. I
Okay.
think in town itself is going to draw a bunch of people. I mean, I've been here for a number of the parades and stuff like that, and the zombie crawl, I was part of it
Okay.
last year, and it was like, this is crazy. Like, it's amazing the amount of people that come for it, you know, and a lot of people I talk to are not from here. So,
you have an application process?
I'm sorry?
You have an application process, people,
There would be an application process.
so you'll collect information about where people come from and all that stuff for next year if you want
Yeah,
to look
for
at
sure.
that
Absolutely.
and fine tune your numbers and stuff.
Yeah, and then fine tune more advertising, you know, to pull a better number every year. Yeah,
Sometimes the first time's a shot in the dark and see
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens, so
agreed.
hopefully it gets bigger and bigger.
So if someone proposed less money, would you, let's say, I don't know, half, would that be a deal killer for you?
I mean, I think you definitely need money behind stuff to advertise it, and especially if we're stretching out that far, like to August. The kind of advertising, you know, I definitely see there being some billboard stuff out on some of the roads. The social media marketing, as you know, the paid advertising stuff on social media works, but you've got to put money behind it. So 2,500, I think, is little, you know, to be honest. But I'm willing to listen to other experiences with this.
I think for sure, one thing is you'd probably want, I would think you'd want to do this on a Sunday so that people could stay Sunday night or something like that. Doing it on a Monday morning,
Yeah.
the day trippers will be even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
I actually, I'm kind of with you. I have a hard time with something that's new and unexpected and what it's going to remit, and we got to protect the money that we put out, right?
sure.
And so at 2,500, and are you going to have an entry fee, I imagine?
Yeah, definitely a team fee for it. I mean, I'm putting my money behind this too. It's not just the advertising dollars. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be investing my own money in the safety behind it, the people that are going to work it, you know, that kind of stuff too. So, you know, I'm confident, but
$50 entry fee?
I think we have a better idea next year what happens
What-
this year.
yeah, absolutely.
And I'd be all in if it was, just being honest, because it's new, and I'd love to see it work, because I love the idea.
Yeah,
I
me
actually
too.
think it's fun, and it's something different. And
Yep.
to get something annually like that here would be cool, but initially, the $5,000 scares me.
Yeah,
2,500, I feel comfortable with. I'm just being honest.
right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, if this is a bargaining table, but meet in the middle,
I'm
come up a bit.
Well, sometimes people make a motion for less, sometimes.
Yeah, I'm going to just, at our workshop, Brian, you said go big or go home, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a motion to approve the $5,000 for the soapbox derby.
I second that.
Thank you, David. Thank you,
We had a motion by David Avanzino to fund the Eureka Springs Soapbox Derby to occur in August for $5,000, seconded by Colin Polk. All in favor?
Aye.
So passed.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
You got to remember everything I say.
If we know who ran the soapbox before, please put me in touch
Yeah.
so I can pick their brain on it, I don't know who it was, but
If you guys could keep that race going all the way down to the spring on Main,
I would love it.
that would,
Maybe every year we just add on, Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Helmets required.
All right, vaudeville.
I'm real interested in the road being closed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Vaudeville show?
Bye, Bill.
Is it vaudeville or vaudeville?
Vaudeville. With
What?
a good old corny vaudeville show.
Vaudeville.
With a twang.
Okay.
Vaudeville.
Vaudeville.
My name is Nikki Schaefer, and this is Liz Farmer. We're here tonight representing the Bomb Squad.
Hey, Nikki, sorry to interrupt. Can you speak just closer to the mic a little bit?
I
Thanks.
can't. Is that better?
That's good, thanks.
Okay, sorry. As I said, we're representing the Bomb Squad tonight, and we are a small theatrical group that was sort of banded together last year to do the vaudeville program. This year, we're a little bit of a different group, so we've banded together with 5 members, and we went ahead and shifted and got ourselves a name and started to get a different sort of organization this year. We've got a program called the Good Old Corny Vaudeville. That's going to be a fundraiser for the Museum of Eureka Springs Arts. If y'all are familiar with that, yeah, it is at the community center.
Yeah.
With Steve Beacham's art group. I have lost where I was at. Well, I don't want to say that yet. Anyway, basically, we're going to be putting this show on to benefit that museum. The arts are really important to Eureka, as is hospitality, and I feel like it's connected. And I think one of the really important things is that in the corridor, art is really blowing up everywhere, and I think it's really important for Eureka to stay involved and be a part of that. So I think not only is this going to help the local Eureka art scene, and it is also in May, so it's falling into the arts, month that we have here, but we have an opportunity here to market into the corridor and bring people in to use, the Eureka Springs information that he talked about a few minutes ago. The new, we've got social media that's coming in that I think could really go far-reaching. As far as 3 or 4 hours in, we could go all the way down to Hot Springs. I work in town, so I know how often we speak to people who come back and who come back repeatedly, and they want to come back from all the way down 5, 6 hours. And I think this opportunity that we have here to bring in that new business for this show, we've got 700 seats to fill for these 2 shows. That is a good amount of people to bring in, along with the support of the locals. But the Bomb Squad were Liz Farmer, Nikki Schaefer, Phyllis Moraga, Joe Lipschitz, and Lisa Magby. And I wanted to read our statement. We've got a little bit of a mission statement here. It's the Bomb Squad's dedicated to creating explosive theatrical performances that go beyond the stage. They resonate in the hearts of our community, and we strive to be a catalyst for positive change and raising funds for NWA arts organizations through the magic of live performance. So it's this 5-person group that is supporting the show, which is going to be, how many people we have involved? Well, we have 15 acts. we have like upwards of 40 people involved. It's going to be at Center Stage over on 23. And Christy, the owner, is very interested in being involved in the community. She wants it to be a community theater, and we hope to have more of these programs in the future. So we're just really excited. We had a run last year at Main Stage with the first vaudeville show, which we sold out all 3 nights. We filled it. We were overflowing. We turned people away. I personally did the media for those shows, and I'm doing the media again this year. We were hoping to add things like T-shirts and other items, stickers. We have a lot of kitschy stuff going on that we'd like to do and get that out and spread it throughout Northwest Arkansas to bring more awareness to the arts here in Eureka, because that is happening in Northwest Arkansas. And I don't want to see Eureka slide behind. We haven't done a lot of theatrical work as of late. I think we're due to step back into that area. I think it would just be a really good time to do that. Anyway, Liz Farmer is our director, and I wanted to let her speak, see if you have any questions for us.
Hi.
Hello.
Do you guys have any questions so far? Does anybody know what vaudeville is? Everybody? Yeah? No? It's like a variety show. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions? We're ready to talk financials.
So you said, I do have a question. You said you had about 15 acts
Correct.
for the show. Can you give us an example of
Some
one
of the acts?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's top secret information. No, I'm just
Right.
kidding. So we'll have a fire spinner out front. We'll have musicians. We have a Betty Boop impersonator. It's 1920s themed. We have several dances, ukulele, guitar, just outright performances that people have written. We have a couple of songs about Eureka as well.
And all of this takes place at Center Stage?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Which has awesome parking, by the way.
Well, is this going to be a similar situation to what you put on last time?
It's going to be bigger.
It's going to be bigger. So your profit, it's all going to get donated to Main Stage?
Not Main Stage. That was last year. We do a different beneficiary every show. So this year it's Mesa. Museum of Eureka Springs Art.
Okay.
Yeah, at the community center.
And it shows you guys sold out last year.
Correct.
Did
We had standing
345
people.
total, and you're projecting to do 700 this year?
Yes, sir.
So you profited $6,000 last year?
Yes, I believe so. We don't have the actual financials, but that's what I remember.
One of the reasons, I believe, for the funding for the CAPC is for organizations that can't do it on their own.
Correct.
And it seems like you guys are doing pretty well if you're profiting $6,000 on an event and you're asking for an extra $4,000.
That went to Main Stage. Main Stage was the beneficiary. We didn't keep that money.
And I understand that.
Okay.
It just seems like your event's doing well.
Correct. But we also got sponsorships and we got funding. I believe they got funding for that last year as well. Whoever.
From us?
No.
Yeah.
Not from you
I didn't
guys.
think so.
Yeah. But we will use the funding for posters, stickers, T-shirts to promote Eureka Springs and the charity that we do here.
The funds go directly back to the community and the arts community specifically. That's kind of the goal of the bomb squad.
Okay.
We really want to see Mesa succeed.
Okay, I was just confused because it said how was the profit used for donation to Main Stage? I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to a private entity.
Oh, copy that.
Specifically.
No, for sure. I totally
And
get
to
that.
your point, sort of, we've approved $30,000 to the arts this year. So,
Where are we in that amount so far?
where what?
To May Festival of the Arts, yeah, we did approve $30,000.
That's specifically for
I'm just saying, so
the
he's,
Main Festival of the...
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but it's like,
That's a
You're
different,
kind of saying, well, we're increasing your donation to,
Yeah,
Mesa.
that's-
Well, I mean,
yeah, no,
basically
you
is
got my
what we're
wording
doing.
pretty well.
And we are already,
different organization,
Okay.
completely different. They're not a part of MFA.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
there you are. We're giving 30 grand to the arts. So,
I make a motion to approve the 4,000 for the Bomb Squad Good Old Corny Vaudeville Show.
Yes, nailed it.
Second.
got a motion by David Avanzino to approve Eureka Springs Bomb Squad's request for $4,000, seconded by Steve Holyfield. All in favor?
Aye.
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 So moved.
Thank you guys so
Thank you.
much.
Appreciate your time.
Kill it.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do.
No, they don't. Whatever. There's no peer pressure here. If you feel it, there's a problem. Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. Okay, that's all the funding requests?
Yes.
Okay, and next deal is executive session to review our interim director, Mike Maloney. Entertain a motion to enter executive session.
I make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss the interim CAP director.
Second.
Got a motion by Colin Polk to enter into executive session for interim CAPC director review, seconded by Brian Weinerman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
executive session.
Second.
I got a motion by Steve Holyfield to end and return from executive session, seconded by Colin Polk. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
I move we start back up our regular meeting.
Second.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield to restart our regular meeting, seconded by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next item, group sales position. Mike, I believe you.
I did hand out, and if you have it in your packet, I hope you do. If not, I do have a hard copy. What is called the group sales position. Everybody have a copy of this? Should be in your iPad. We put this together based upon the fact that we need to have representation on the outside world. That takes us to conventions, small meetings, and then bringing those conventions, small meetings, car shows, the like, to Eureka Springs. We haven't had that position for some time. I have already started doing some preliminary classified advertising for it. We're going to close it out mid-April to get it done. We'd like the permission of the commission to go ahead and make this part of what we had budgeted for 2024. We put $50,000 in the budget for the year. I'd like permission to go ahead and move forward to get this position taken care of.
Any questions?
Is this in our packet?
It's page.
The further up, I think it's.
Oh, here we go, I got it.
Right behind the financials, I believe.
Gotcha.
So you said there's 50,000 in the budget for it? Okay. Group sales, going after.
I'll give you a broad brush stroke.
Yeah.
This is a person that will be traveling to conventions and meetings around the region, some throughout the country, representing the city, making sales calls, personal presentations to sites or committees, groups, and so forth that would be coming to Eureka Springs, probably not in 2024, but 2025, 26, so forth. An opportunity to bring those organizations into, and in some cases back to, Eureka Springs. They may not have been back for a while. Taking the opportunity to kind of analyze group travel throughout the country, working with our state of Arkansas. We have a kind of a new position within Arkansas Parks, Tourism, and Heritage, which is basically an industry travel expert that helps identify locations that Arkansas is interested in bringing people from, and then participating financially to help send individual cities to some of those locations. For example, going on Faith, American Bus Association travel, motorcycle shows, outdoor shows, great outdoor show in Denver every year that we used to attend, a variety of things that, again, will bring groups into Eureka Springs.
Did you say RFPs? Did you mention RFPs? Like they'll.
I did not, but indeed, yes.
Right. They'll be, so some people might not understand what that is. If you want to.
Well, we want to bid on shows.
Right. There's a lot of meetings and big groups out there and stuff that will be asking for RFPs, and we're not doing any of that right now at all.
No, and some of these organizations basically will let you come in and sell the city in 10 to 15 to 20 minutes with a person that's representing maybe a dozen different organizations or more, and we need to be back in front of those organizations. A person that can act as a FAM tour host. We've had a request from a couple of organizations in Eureka to be able to do that. Take people in town. Where are you going? And being able to step on the bus and helping out. Basically being, the face of Eureka Springs on the outside world.
So what kind of expense budget would that position require?
Initially this year, it's going to be a matter of materials and putting things together. At some point, it's going to be air travel. It's going to be the opportunity to go ahead and probably produce a little bit of literature, but we'll be gathering things. So typically, we'd be spending probably somewhere in the vicinity of $60,000 to $70,000 a year, being able to go ahead and...
In addition to the salary?
In addition to the salary.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
okay.
yeah.
So we're talking about 110.
Some of these trade shows, you have to buy you have to pay for a booth spot,
right.
and
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's part of it.
That's the good thing about what I hope that the state is doing, is providing a lot of that booth space for us that we could either co-op or maybe have. Used to be that we could go to a show, go half with the state, another half be picked up, or a fourth be picked up by Bentonville, or perhaps we pick up a fourth or whatever. In this case, we may be able to offset a lot of those expenses, but on the same token, we'll have to buy some, for sure.
Yeah.
But good example, going on Faith, we would go hopefully with the Passion Play and participate with them and work in conjunction with Kent and the people that do those shows. So it's making associations, I think, within our own city, but also in the same token, making associations back with the state as well.
But there's a lot of office work for this person, not
There's a
just
bunch.
going to shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. Again, I'll go back to, you hit right on the head, Chris, RFPs, being able to put those proposals together, because we do have to bid, and sometimes it's a matter of really getting on the phone and talking to our properties and saying, we'd like to bring this group in, what can we do? What can you go ahead and get us those nights for? And sometimes it's very competitive.
Yeah. So like Randy and Jack, they have people that are engaged in the RFP process season, but that's just for their places. So we need to pull it all together, and there's a big, big need for that spot. That's a big hole in our offense.
Another thing is knowing what we have. Knowing how many square feet we actually have of convention space, knowing the sizes of the rooms that we have. If it's a group of 500, we're pushing it. If it's a group of 250, no problem. Those are the things that we iron out, when we're trying to go ahead and talk, with these groups and organizations that want to come. Can we do the Arkansas Governor's Conference? No, we're not big enough anymore. We can't do those. But, we can do that group of 500, and we might have to push around to do it a little bit. But sometimes we're able to split things up, too, and make it work. And it's not a complicated thing, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of determination and effort to make it work. So it's a lot of due diligence on the phone, and then meeting, the person with you.
So one of the key points to this position in my mind is everyone talks about weekends are great, What are you going to do for us weekday? Well, this is the weekday piece of the puzzle, bringing in small meetings and business groups that we're not reaching right now.
It is a 7-day-a-week business. Very much so.
I mean, so basically like a $50,000 salary to cover that's 1.6 million in revenue for the city. Do we think bringing this position and creating this could bring us 1.6 million in revenue in a year?
1.6? No. I wish. Now,
So what
but
do
on
you, hold on, what are you saying?
well,
I don't understand.
let me see if I can
Gross?
understand the question a little better.
Yeah, gross revenue.
Yeah, you're saying, will that person bring in 1.6 million in gross revenue?
Potentially, you're right?
The tax is the 50,000.
The tax,
Perhaps.
Yeah, the 3%.
3%.
Yeah, I would say perhaps.
I hope so.
When you think about 2,200 people coming to town in 3 days, yeah, you're pushing some big money.
You can get there quickly.
Yeah, you do.
So how much, do you think a person would spend in this scenario? Like 2 nights, 2 days, like 500 a person?
Well, it's all per diems for them. I mean, they're on a business trip.
So it's 3,000 individuals if they were on like 2 nights for $500.
I think, I like the idea of this position personally. I think you're onto something.
When are you looking to hire and get them started?
I'm sorry?
When are you looking to get them hired and started?
Within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'd like to have a person on immediately.
You've got to interview though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I make a motion to approve this position.
My second.
Job description, good. 50,000. So motion to approve
Group sales position.
Group set.
$50,000 salary based on this job description. Okay, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve the group sales position at a $50,000 salary a year.
Second.
Okay, got a motion by Brian Weinerman to approve CAPC job description for sales manager and a $50,000 salary, seconded by Colin Polk. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Commissioner comments. Steve Holyfield.
Springtime and everything looks great, and look forward to the coming year. That's it.
Chris Jones.
I just love to see a busy, busy March. It was great to see lots of people in town, and hope everybody has a great Easter.
Colin.
I would say it's a lot more.
Yeah, Colin. That worked out well.
I'd say it's a lot more comfortable down here this meeting than it's been the last few. So I want to say thank you for that.
Brian. Take a drink. All right, David.
Yeah, really. The spring breaks, all the spring break groups were great. Our social media seems to be skyrocketing. Caitlin and Danielle, fantastic jobs. Mike, Scott, you guys are doing great. Really glad to see where this commission has come to and where it's going. So yeah, that's all.
Second meeting to be on the commission, and sorry I was in St. Thomas during the last one, not really. But I'm very excited about what this commission is doing. Scott, Mike, and all of you guys are doing a great job. We're leading in the, I'm excited to see what we're going to do for this town. There's a lot of people are relying on us. So.
Yep. Thank you to Mike and the staff and all the commissioners. And need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield to adjourn, seconded by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.